One of the people at the site asked a question about, well, what makes OptiTrack motion capture systems unique? Before I could even answer, one of the guys in the room just interrupted them and said, we need to stop thinking of the OptiTrack system as a motion capture system. It is actually a precision measuring tool. From an application point of view, I think it just changes everything, and it gives other industries the opportunity to change the way that they work as well.
Is it AI magic, or how does it kind of work in the back end?
I think that the different industries we work in is the thing that keeps us going. You know, I've been to wind tunnels, hospitals, international sports teams, a few animation studios. So the variety that we see within motion capture is the thing that keeps us alive, I think.
Welcome everybody to the 5th episode of The Sync. We're very pleased today to be joined by Jacques Gay from OptiTrack. Very warm welcome to you. People may or may not know that OptiTrack is our main product, the main thing we sell here at Target 3D, and also kind of the origins of Target 3D. We started as a motion capture company.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for being a loyal partner to us at OptiTrack's.
I suppose, Jacques, before we get into everything, can you tell us how this technology works?
You know, I think the simplest way of looking at it is, and we have multiple cameras around us in our room. We do a calibration beforehand, and what that does is it just tells each camera where they are in relation to each other. From the camera, we've got the LED strobe that emits light. The light bounces back from these little reflective balls. Think of that as the same material as on a high-vis jacket. So the light bounces back. Because we know the position of each individual camera, we can create a three-dimensional image of where that light is coming from or where the marker is being seen at. And then from that, we get a dot in our software. And the dot is just a three-dimensional position within the space. So it's from this sofa, I'm moving 1 meter this way, 1 meter up, and 1 meter this way. And that is my coordinate, my position for the little dot. And then from that, we can create a three-dimensional image. And it works exactly the same way with our active markers. So with the active markers, we don't use the strobe, but the light's being emitted by the active markers itself. The camera picks that up, and in that way we can determine the three-dimensional position of, in this case, the Cinepart. I got into the world of motion capture in the mid to late 90s. I was a student at the University of Brighton, and one of the honours students were doing research in cricket, and I was a subject. I was being filmed using 2 cine cameras, and then he manually digitized the data afterwards. Fast forward 2 years, I then continued his research, and I started doing some research on cricket throwing and fielding. So that's where my love for motion capture started.
Okay, so over 25 years ago.
Yes, over 25 years, which makes me feel very old today.
Okay, and so then I'm presuming you then went and started working in this field.
Yeah, I went straight into the commercial world as soon as my degree finished. Got the opportunity to join a motion capture company. Started out installing systems across the world, training customers up, and then progressed a little bit further into running dedicated training courses and then looking after distributors and resellers.
And then in that time, can you sort of just touch on the various different industries this has taken you into?
I think the different industries we work in is the thing that keeps us going. It's the variety that we see. You know, I've been to wind tunnels to do engineering, been into companies doing product design, hospitals, international sports teams, doing rehabilitation with them, a few animation studios. You know, so the variety that we see within motion capture is the thing that keeps us alive, I think. It keeps us excited and it keeps us on our toes, which we need to do if we really want to keep moving forward.
Jacques, you brought in today something special for us to see, new cameras from OptiTrack. Would you like to tell us a bit about them?
Yeah, so we've released the Versa cameras earlier this year, but it's the first time that we have them on site with you guys. So the main thing between the Versa camera and the Prime X camera is that the Versa camera is firstly a modular camera. So that allows us to remove the strobe. If you want to do active tracking on its own or duplex mode tracking, you can still use the camera on its own. So think of this as a Slim X camera, but this then allows us to add the strobe at a later date. And here we have a completed version of it already assembled. The other main feature regarding this camera is that it's IP66 rated. That allows the customers to use the cameras in harsh environments, whether it's outdoor, in the rain, or in a dusty environment. For example, an engineering plant where they need to track specific tools. The camera also comes with different mounting points. So here we have our standard Prime X camera with 2 mounting points. The Versa camera comes with a few mounting points at the back and a few more on the top. That allows us to mount it a little bit more rigidly. Think here of environments like wind tunnels where we get high vibrations. This allows us to reduce the vibrations even further in conjunction with the continuous calibration mode. The camera specs itself is the exact same as the Prime X camera range. So we have the Prime X120, 120W, the same for the 41s, and then for the Prime X22s. For the Versa cameras, each camera comes in 3 different flavors. We've got the Versa X120 with outer strobe. We've got the Versa X120 narrow with the standard strobe and the standard lens. And then we have the wide version of it, the same for the Versa X41s. And then for the Versa X22, it's exactly the same as the Prime X22. 1 strobe, 1 lens, or you can run it without the strobe.
Fantastic. And the X in the name VersaX and Prime X represents the sensor, right? It's a 10-bit sensor?
Yeah, so all the sensors are 10-bit sensors. You know, that allows us to get a little bit more depth and clarity, especially in the grayscale images. And then in conjunction with that, it allows for consistency across our Prime X, Versa X, and Slim X camera range.
So the differences, so Prime X22 or Versa X22 is a 2.2 megapixel camera. Means it can perceive a 14mm marker roughly about 20 meters away. Is that fair? A bit more?
Yeah, that's about right. So the range for the cameras would stay the same, whether it's the Versa range or the Prime X range. So the range stays the same. The main difference being the modular and the IP.
So really capable. So this can see 20 odd meters, this over 40 meters, and the 120 can see 100 meters.
Correct.
So the ability to go outdoors means we can now take these to things like sports stadiums and, as you mentioned before, inside factories in quite harsh environments where, before you would have been really concerned about damaging your camera. Now we've got something which is really, really robust.
Yeah, the robustness of the camera really helps. We do also actually provide if you are really concerned about damaging the camera, we do include a small little housing for it, especially if you're going to leave your cameras outdoors for longer periods of time.
Okay, so I could mount these, leave them outdoor and be quite happy. And I see we've got kind of a weatherproof connector for the Ethernet cable.
Yeah. So
everything's kind of thought of here, and 2, 4, 6, 8, 18 mounting points.
Correct.
Just on the back of the camera itself. So that's really fantastic. With that, the key thing, part of optical motion capture is the capability of the technology, right? The accuracy. Can you just talk a bit about the accuracy, what you can achieve from a calibrated optical system?
Yeah, the accuracy is something that's being thrown around in the industry for quite a while. People go, I want the most accurate system, I want the most precise system. And what they will then get from the industry in general is just a number. So for OptiTrack, I think we're a little bit more conservative when it comes to the numbers. And the reason for that is because each environment is different. You know, if we look at your studio here, it'll be completely different than doing motion capture outdoors. So the accuracy for our systems in general range from 0.1 millimeter to 0.3, 0.5 millimeter.
And is it as straightforward as more cameras, better accuracy?
That is a very good question. I think, as you know, from a sales point of view, more cameras are always better. But from a technical point of view, what you want to do is you want to answer the customer's question, and you want to make sure that you answer the question in the way that they can use the system, but also not break the bank. So more cameras if you are in an environment where there's lots of obstacles in the way. If you're in a more controlled environment, less cameras can get you the same accuracy.
One of the real exciting developments for me, particularly in Photograph 3D, is the partnership between OptiTrack and Capture. The introduction of the capability of doing markerless and marker-based tracking simultaneously. Can you tell us a bit about that?
The partnership has actually been ongoing for quite a while. You know, OptiTrack cameras has been integrated into the Capture software for a few years now, and we've had a few customers using it purely for markerless. But this year we've brought out something very unique to all our existing customers using Prime X cameras, which is the duplex mode. And this mode allows you to do marker-based and markerless. And what we find with that is it actually just expands the capabilities of the system for us personally. It expands the capabilities for Capture, and it also expands the capabilities for the customer in the end of the day. You know, why should we provide a second camera just to do markerless when we can provide one single camera that can do markerless and marker-based at the same time.
Hugely powerful. So really to dispel kind of some myths around it, is it AI magic, or how does it kind of work in the back end?
The OptiTrack side, the duplex side, I can't divulge too much information there, but it is something that our engineering team has been working on, and they've been trying to fine tune for a while, and we've managed to crack it. That's as much as I can say about the duplex mode. When it comes to the markerless side, we both know that there's quite a few different software applications out there that uses AI. Capture uses a mixture of machine vision and AI at the same time. So it's not pure AI. Giving a computer the capabilities of doing everything for you, I'm not a big fan of that, and I don't think anyone should actually do that, just blindly accepting AI as a solution when it comes to motion capture.
We've had a lot of interest and customers using the markerless element within Capture for previs, particularly in the film and TV industry, people realizing that they can quickly previs scenes with multiple people. And it's really great that for our customers who've got OptiTrack cameras, they can upgrade, as long as they've got the Prime-X range, to duplex mode and get that markerless version, so that's really good. So some of the different ways we've been using tracking systems, particularly between this site and we've got another studio up in the northeast of England in Gateshead, a location called Proto. They also have an OptiTrack set up and also virtual production, and we've done simultaneous motion capture between the two sites, demonstrated on the LED walls, the output of that, so performers with avatars and virtual scenes, one Unreal Engine scene between the two. From your point of view, what's the most exciting part of that type of development?
The thing that makes it really, really exciting for me is the fact that we are not constricted by location anymore. I mean, just in the world of virtual production itself, we already got the opportunity to be in a location without actually physically being there, just by having the images in the background. The fact that you can capture data in Gateshead and have it seen here real time, and you can interact with it as well. I think that changes the way that we get results quickly, but also it saves on costs in the long term. You don't have to fly your whole crew out to a location. So I think that for me is the most exciting part, is that in the long run we're actually saving the customers money. Not only money, but time. Saving a customer time and money, I think that is a very big thing.
Yeah, it pushes creative boundaries, right?
Yes. But I think not just the creative boundaries, but also in other fields. For example, we have a customer who did a remote surgery.
Okay.
Using motion capture, where he was controlling a robot. So his hands were being tracked, and the robot was, I think it was about 300 kilometers away, where he was doing a remote surgery using motion capture. So from an application point of view, I think it just changes everything, and it gives other industries the opportunity to change the way that they work as well.
When you're thinking about the future, not just the technology, but for people who use this, artists, performers, engineers, biomecanicists, what gives you the most optimism about our industry, our mocap world?
I think the mocap world is constantly changing. I've been in the industry for quite a while, and on the surface it looks like the tech and everything has stayed the same. If we think of the cameras in the early 2000s, on the surface they look pretty much the same as what they are now, but the technology within the camera has changed, and the capabilities will just extend over the next few years. I'm really excited, partially because I know from an OptiTrack point of view what our vision is and where we're heading towards, so I'm quite excited to see what that's going to bring in the future. Is motion capture here to stay? I hope so. I say I hope so. I strongly believe that it will stay.
No, I agree. I mean, I think if you really want that absolute information, almost guaranteed every time, even with the amazing advances in markerless technologies, I think the one thing which we always come back to is marker-based optical will get you that repeatable results. And, our clients, our engineering, space, robotics, they all depend on this, and it's always what we come back to, and who knows what the future will hold. But this is really a standard which needs to maintain.
I had a visit to a site last year, and one of the people at the site asked a question about, what makes OptiTrack motion capture systems unique and stuff. And before I could even answer, one of the guys in the room just interrupted them and said, we need to stop thinking of the OptiTrack system as a motion capture system. It is actually a precision measuring tool, because we provide positional data rotational data. And then at the end of the day, the industry decides what they want to do with that data, whether it's in the performing arts, whether it's in medical research or engineering. They get the positional data out. And that's what we pride ourselves in, is to make sure that we provide accurate data at all times and across industry, which can be used to change lives and to have fun.
Have fun, yeah. We've got some very big location-based entertainment customers using this tech every day, all the time, all year round, and it is just reliable, so it's brilliant. Jacques, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been great to speak with you. Where can people find out more about yourself and OptiTrack?
So people can find out more at OptiTrack.com or target3d.co.uk, and they can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I'll be more than happy to discuss things further, or they can just email me jacques.gay@optitrack.com.
Brilliant, thank you so much.
Thank you.
The screen industry things have already changed. We had a conversation with one of our editing tutors. She was talking to our students about fundamentals of editing workflow, and then she said, but obviously that can just be done in AI.